Hey, David, no offense or nothing. I love when people start, no offense or nothing. Nothing good.
Here comes the offense.
No offense or nothing, but you're wearing, FYI, another one I love, you're wearing the same hat you wore when we were interviewing live Zach Galifianakis.
Oh, yeah. Well,
is that a theme with you?
No, I like
to be
this
close
hat.
to Zach or what?
I like this hat, and goddamn, we had a blast with Zach. It was fun.
Don't have to swear.
No, gosh dang, that's what I meant. But
God darn it.
But I got a little zippy. What's it called? A 3/4 inch, 3/4 sweater.
You got the dime.
What?
You can get a long
12
zip.
grand. What did you ask me?
I don't know. Who are you? What?
I don't like talking
What,
about
100 grand? What, $7 million?
Who cares about numbers?
That's not Zach Galifianakis. That's Joe Biden trying to pronounce Zach's
Zach
name.
break your glasses.
Yes, that's a hard can. Zach Galifianakis.
Come on, you know.
Come on, man. I'll kick your ass. He's going to just, by the end, he'll just be threatening rapport.
He has to fight a lot of people because he always threatens the guy. Hey, tough guy.
He's the old guy on the porch. The ball came in my yard. This is my ball now.
Dude, I wouldn't even trust him with
Old man Willikers.
a ball. Okay, so Zach.
This is great. Should we talk about Zach too?
People always ask us, are we cold in here? Are we hot? Is it bright? Why do we have sunglasses? Why do we
All
not?
we know is we look cool.
Yeah, it's all that. It doesn't
But
matter.
it's about
does not matter.
91 degrees in here right now. But we never sweat.
And then they go, the scary part is they think they look cool.
Look how we phone in the podcast. Of course we stay cool even if it's hot. We got 1 foot out the door half the time.
Dude, I phone that sucker in. Beep, boop, pop, boop.
I love phoning. Last night I fell asleep twice. Zach, what?
Zach was so funny. He's so quirks ahoy is really the theme. He's a very interesting actor, hilarious comedian.
Yep.
You never know what you're going to get. We were lucky to sit with him because we all think he's such a high up there on the.
I said to him at one point, "You only do cool things."
It's true.
Like,
he turns down. I think we didn't get to the point last night because people go, "Oh, Hangover." Between Two Ferns is a home run, obviously.
Classic.
And they don't see him a lot, but he turns down so much, and that's not really usually the custom. He breaks that.
Yes. So it was fun to talk to him, and we laughed our ass off. He has an incredible sense of humor. He's one of those comedians who will laugh incredibly hard.
Yeah, it's very nice when comedians give it up and laugh.
Yeah. Charming, family man, has a lot of integrity organically without wearing on his sleeve about his work. Like, talks about how he just doesn't want to do things because that wouldn't work out or wouldn't be very good. So he was such a fun guy to hang out with, David.
Unlike me, I do things that are horrible on purpose. No, I don't.
Well, I've got subsidies, and like I said, the church lady is for sale. If anyone's listening to this intro,
I think one of
she
these
will
shows
walk
you
out there
gotta
and-
you gotta dress like a church lady, and we'll just do a whole thing.
and
One of
yeah,
those.
I think we should have special guest appearance church lady. I got the full gear on.
And you could maybe interview one of the people, one of our guests.
Jeez, you got me busy. How about you dress up as Joe Dirt?
Dana,
And
I'm
you
not a
and-
clown.
You're not a clown. You're Joe Dirt.
I am so similar to Joe Dirt. It's not even that much different.
There's
But
not.
I'd have to get out of the cobwebs, go to the Smithsonian, get the codes, get
My
the
wife
mullet.
says, "How was Joe Dirt today?" I said, "You mean David?" She goes, "Oh, you're right.
Is that a different
That's
guy?
his alter ego."
It's like Santa Claus. Well, let's go. Let's wrap it up.
So why you should watch this? Zach is one of our favorite guests. I do believe he's one of the
100%.
seminal comedians of his generation. There's only one Zach, and he has a very finely tuned sense of humor, and is a hell of a nice guy. So enjoy the show, David.
I agree.
Yeah, you go there. It started. It's already almost over. Okay.
It's a great song. I thought it was good, you know.
I did an impression within the first 20 seconds. Damn, this chair, look at our chair differential. The fuck? I'm like a Muppet. You're like 6'2" in that thing.
I'll go closer.
I'm going to get up front and be like this. What's up, Zach? What? Sorry.
Where, is Zach here yet?
I got up at 6.
That's it. We're warning
I'm
them
just
it's going to be
punchy.
bad.
I'm punchy. I'm overtired.
all right.
I'm like a baby. I'm overtired.
Let's bring Zach out because
Let's bring him out.
Yeah, that's the beginning. All right, Zach. Welcome, Zach Galifianakis.
Zach Galifianakis.
Shit. It was a little louder for Zach, if anyone's counting. All right.
Okay, Zach Galifianakis.
Zach Galifianakis.
You're.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. You're something else, man.
Yeah, something else.
You're something else.
You look like Wolverine right now with that hair.
Oh, really? I'm
That
sorry.
looks cool. Actually, you have cool hair, which
Plugs are coming in nice.
Yeah, a lot of plug work. A lot of plug work.
real nice. New crops coming in.
So how you doing?
Is that
I
it?
feel like I'm
doing
a
well.
half mile away from you.
I'm doing well. David, why is that chair that way?
This one? I don't know. They
It's
treat me like a
for
fucking asshole.
orthopedic issues.
Oh, okay.
He likes to be
Seems
erect.
No, I don't know. This is good.
okay.
Zach,
Anyway, we don't have to talk about it.
No, it's all right.
Zach, enough of this bullshit.
So
Let's get to
Zach,
it.
can we butter you up a little bit?
Yeah, let's butter him up.
Okay. How the fuck did you come up with the two Ferns thing? Because that's too crazy.
Some of you remember.
Coming hot right out of the box. Because that thing is, I saw every episode today.
Oh,
Today,
Well, I've seen them before, but I'm almost 80. I have to refresh my memory. This is an illusion. It's a lot of blood and gut and sweats and tape. So when did you come up with that?
yeah.
it was part of a pilot that they were doing, and this guy Scott Aukerman was producing it, and
Scott Aukerman.
he asked me to do.
Come on up, Scott.
But he just said, "Would you do something?" And I just said, I for some reason I had this thought. I just said, "Can you get me two Ferns and some kind of celebrity?" And I had worked at a cable access show or station. I interned one in college, and so I kind of like that world, that kind of low end,
Like lo-fi.
desperate. Try a way to communicate. I actually had a taped a class at a cable access show about how to waltz, and I got my two friends. You know, back when you could do this stuff.
You can't do it anymore.
And we just put them in gowns, and it was a very straight video and dance lessons on cable access on how to waltz with not trying to be funny. Mm-hmm. So that kind of weird world I knew. Scott Aukerman asked Michael Cera to be in the first one, and we just kind of made it weird and creepy. And I always had thought celebrity interviews are...
What do you mean?
Ridiculous. No, they are. It's
Hey.
like he's talking
What-
like Access
what-
Hollywood.
Oh,
so, yeah.
okay, I got
It's
it.
a little, yeah.
Yeah. It's just such a bizarre...
But let me ask you a
thing to
question
me.
about this. So the guest comes in, and I understand from my research today that you didn't really prep it with them. Did they have cue cards, or they don't even know what's coming, and then you guys just go right at it, or do they kind of know where you're going?
No, nobody really knows what's going on. Even us. We have written things down, and I think the idea is they don't need to be funny. They just need to kind of answer questions.
Just be there.
And I think the awkwardness kind of fills in the rest of it, and then often part of it is improv, and we just kind of, or I'll give them a something to say back at me that's very mean.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a very give and take. It's not a prank. I don't want to prank people.
Because I'm sure people, because, the publicists in this world are very hawkish, and they don't want you to do anything where you're going to look stupid. So you take the Michael Cera one maybe, and they either see that, because that probably goes up on Funny or Die maybe back then pretty quickly, and then that catches on, so they go, someone might even call you and say, hey, I'd like to be on this because it's my type of humor. And the people you have on obviously are funny, and they're huge stars, and and when they go along with it, it makes them look better. It's all good. It's sort of when you're on SNL and you go with it. Like if you let them make fun of you and goof around, it seems to be funnier.
Yeah, I mean, there's that is all true. I mean, but there's been some times when I've
Go sideways a little bit.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
that I don't know if I've even spoke about it, but
Oh, good.
there's been
we got a
well,
scoop.
I don't even know if I have, but there's been a couple of instances, and I don't mean to bring people up, but
Yes.
The name of the show is
Well,
Name Names.
the reason
It's called
the reason I
trending.
bring it up because I was just talking about it to somebody today at lunch for some reason, and so they brought it up and at lunch today, and I interviewed Jennifer Aniston. Yeah, you know from
reaction,
Smart
Dana.
Water.
Jennifer, if you're listening, we
I
love
only
you.
know her because of Smart Water.
Right.
What about her shampoo commercials? She's got wonderful hair.
So,
want you to be on, Jennifer.
I mean, I don't. I guess. I don't know.
So did you say something to her you thought it crossed the line? Or what do you mean?
No. In the wings, I had a Brad Pitt lookalike.
Of course.
Oh boy.
And so I wanted to tell her about it before we started filming. So I kind of asked her if I could have a word with her. Like a vice principal. No, but
Someone who looks like Brad Pitt might be expensive.
well,
right?
No, I wasn't.
How many people look like? Wait, yeah, but
that's how I met
I'm
David.
scale -10. So,
Very
you
handsome.
pull her aside and you say, "Is it okay if we try this?" Or did you even get
And
to it?
I said I have a Brad Pitt lookalike here, and as soon as I said it, I read her face,
Yeah.
and it was her. I felt so bad. And I don't even know anything about that thing. I mean, I know that was in the things, but in the papers, but so I don't know much about it. But so I of course I called it off. So I went up to the Brad Pitt lookalike to tell him we don't need him.
He's wrapped.
Yes, and as a joke, I kind of went. Well, I said, "Listen, we don't need you. Thanks for coming." And as a joke, I said, "Do you happen to look like anyone else?" And without pausing, he goes, "Colin Farrell." So there's those little.
Don't get rid of me yet. I'm a chameleon.
Oh, it's a living.
And Jennifer is very funny. Yeah, she's a very funny girl. But I think that might be, they come on there
girl,
to be
he
fun.
says he's reading the papers. You're calling her a girl. It's 2023, guys.
Is she funny? I mean, is she a girl? Yeah, she's great.
She should be a woman. I guess you
Oh,
call
I'm
her my
sorry.
boy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
My
I say
boy.
girl a lot. But she is very
We talk
fun
about
person.
stuff.
I think when they go on, they kind of know what they're getting into, and then it probably goes a hair farther than they think, and
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is to try to
rattle them a little bit.
as much as you can read people
Mm-hmm.
and push it. There's been a couple of times that
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
what
Well, has there been times
Hmm.
where, like, would you do one with Mike Tyson?
I don't really do them anymore.
Okay, all right.
So
Sean Penn's scary enough. When
But you're a fan of Don Rickles, right? Because you did
Yes.
that show. So Don Rickles, to me, as a kid growing up, was the funniest
yes,
guy on television.
is he
The
here?
reason is because everyone loved him. He'd put you down, and then he'd go, the show started, put Ed in the corner, give him a cookie. He doesn't know. It was so dry and so bizarre. There were no jokes. Do you feel like that was an influence for the character, the Fern guy character, to ride that line? Because it's funny because you're going right at some sort of truth about them. And if they have a sense of humor about it or a perception of them, they laugh really hard.
right. I mean, part of it. I mean, if you're to really break it down, I guess
Yes.
is that they are they're public figures that people kind of want to, unfortunately, jab at anyway. There's some of that to it. And I think at the end of the day, I think it's the media and all thing. People are human. We're all, obviously. And I think people that are willing to make fun of each of themselves, I think that's a real nice attribute to someone, even if it's staged a bit. I think being able to laugh at yourself in that kind of way is a nice thing. No, I've been asked to do them with other people, presidents of companies, and big Pepsi has asked to sponsor it, and to get blown out of proportion. And I've always just wanted to keep it free online and keep it clear of those other things that get in the way. Sometimes
the monetization people would come in and go,
we've monetized it a bit,
good.
but only in a way that we see fit. I mean, we've been asked to. I got asked to do a Super Bowl commercial using it.
And did you?
It's coming out next week.
I can't remember.
They got a really good deal.
I did a Puppy Bowl commercial earlier.
I'm for sale.
was
Church
too
lady
risque.
is locked and loaded for a Super.
No.
Go deep.
By the way, first of all,
I'm ready. I'm gonna sell
Zach,
out in a
I've
second.
done. Dana and I both obviously sellout kings here. We've done.
Well, we all are.
We do
all
corporate gigs, and when you do them, they go, "Our CEO, say something about." By the guy, I don't even know if the guy works there. He's like, "When you get up there, say he's got 3 balls, he beats
we
his
do
wife.
all
Do
that
something
time.
about that. Just throw it in there, mix it up, throw it in the middle, and then you go, and then you do it, and everyone goes, "What?" And you go, "Does this guy work with you?" He just told me. So they try to do that, and that's kind of what they want to do to CEO, like roast him or something. And you go, "It's not even funny.
Sometimes
It'll
they're
probably bomb."
drunk, and I was playing Earth, Wind, and Fire. I was opening for them.
Yeah.
The CEO got drunk. I was. The CEO got drunk. It went on for like 2 hours. So I was getting paid a lot of money. They go, "You can only do 15 minutes." But I went over a little bit, and I guess Earth and Wind came out, but Fire wouldn't. That was a long way for that joke.
That's a
Yeah,
good joke.
I don't mind it.
Did you really open for them?
I did open for them.
Yeah,
I opened for a lot of people. Tower of Power, Todd Rundgren,
I opened
Robert
for-
Palmer.
Really?
I bombed every fucking time.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Your hero will be on in a second, but first, Dana Glarfo. They must have ruined your name when you first started
Oh my
doing
God!
stand-up.
Everybody. I mean,
How would they say
geez.
it?
Well, they just tried to make it sound somewhat ethnic, and they're like, "Give it up for Baklava Rodriguez." Was But in high school, I was Zach Galifianakis, which is
That hurts. I was
Weren't
Dana
you
Car
homeschooled?
Keys.
Oh. Now, Zach, by the way, I'm going to come back to that. The first ferns I saw, these ferns are like tall pine trees by now. But when I saw the first one, I didn't know what it was. Someone just sent it to me, or said, "Look at this." And so I thought it was a real interview. And then it was Natalie Portman, who I love, and so I was, of course, in a jealous rage immediately. And then you were saying some of you had great jokes. Now I won't repeat them because I'm not good at that. But you said so many jokes, and it was so. And for her to play along, and I thought it was real for a while, and then I go, Jesus, this is so weird. And then it took me a while to figure it out, too long. And then so I started going, oh, this is great. And then when you would do them, you obviously didn't overdo it. You didn't do too many. They weren't super long. It was just a great bit that lives out there on the internet, which everyone should see. I don't know where I'm going with this. Dana, jump in.
Would you like to say anything in your defense, Zach?
well.
Your
I mean, speaking of that one, we shot it. That one we shot in a garage, and I think we shot that one in a garage, right around here, right in Hollywood somewhere. And the thing about that one is, there's a line in it, not to be vulgar, but it's something about, did you shave your? Okay.
You said
Can we hear it?
She was in
David.
V for Vendetta.
Yeah, and then there's a punchline. Did you shave your V for vagina or
Yes.
something?
That one caught me off
So-
guard.
To Natalie Portman in a garage.
Yes.
In a garage.
In a garage with
Right.
loose
And
tools about.
By the way, I barely understand that joke. Like I mean,
I know.
I think I
It
saw that
doesn't
movie.
quite-
I don't
there's-
know.
there's
something
There's
missing.
something
funny.
off, but the fact
sounds
that
funny.
I think it's the fact that I'm asking it.
Yes.
So anyway, she was, if I remember correctly, she was quite good with the whole thing, and then we sent it to her just to show it to her, and I had asked that joke to be left out of it. I said, "Can you edit that out? We'll send it to her." And her note was, Where's that vagina joke?
Oh, I love
Wow.
reading.
By the
I
way,
just
I
began-
don't know if that was the exact note. Where is the vagina joke?
Something
But
like
something
that.
along those
yeah.
lines.
By the way, there's
Wow.
a dog
She
in
just
that
went
Dana.
up on the hip
You s-
meter.
Yeah, she's unreal.
Yeah.
But there's a dog that you keep cutting to, which is even funnier.
Yeah, that was. I think that was a real dog.
The dog rolls over his back, and then when something dies or it just sits there, then they cut over to the dog. Just all right, it all works. And then Sean Penn one. Sean looked very cool in that one.
Huh.
Yeah, I'd be scared of that one. And then anyway,
Sean Penn can. Yeah, I had a fight with him. I was in a dress at the time, but
oh, you
he
did
said hit
church
me
late.
harder. He said you can hit me harder.
Yeah.
There's no problem. So I
would,
hit him.
I would like to one day talk to him about the one we did. Because
They bring it up because it was.
It was an interesting. It was an interesting day.
Well, was he truly upset, or was he?
He was
he's a
very
great
quiet. He was
actor.
very
He's
quiet.
Good. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
So he can.
Or he's a good actor. And I think he may have been ready to deck me in real life. I don't know. Maybe he was doing a method thing, and I don't.
So
it was
he
tricky.
he held it so serious that you weren't sure if he was serious. He might have been kidding.
and I have worked with him. I mean, not that I know him, but you know, he has a good sense of humor.
Yes.
He really does.
funny.
Yeah.
Yes. Huge laugher, and it loves to go see stand up. But I in that moment, it was.
I remember
it
watching
was
that.
odd.
Was it something you? Was it a line that you gave him?
You
that
said
felt
something
tweaked
because
him?
weren't you playing your brother or something in that
I
whole
was
thing?
playing this over the. Well, it's not really over top. There are people like this in the South. Really into him for the wrong reasons type person.
Okay, and how does that guy talk?
Well, it's based on a character I used to do in high school called I think his name was the effeminate racist, and
I remember that Skittles. Yeah, but so that's a great.
So it's just a guy that talks like this, and so friends of mine that were black in high school would bump me in the hallway, so this character would be released. And I would say to them, my mom told me not to talk to black people. And they
Go crazy.
would die laughing because they understood at the time that I was mocking it all. You know, so that's where that came from. That was as simple as that.
Well, there was something, Dana, where he goes, Sean, and he's doing this, and he's sort of prodding. He goes, "Did you get into? I'd get into Hollywood just so you could go to all the parties and all the wrong reasons that Sean wouldn't want." Sean is very funny, and unlike his persona out there, and so I like that he's going along with it. But he was so serious. Then he goes, "I could walk over there and knock you the fuck out right now." And even I was like, "God damn, he gave that a good reading."
I think he knew it was funny and interesting. I think he was,
was
playing.
good.
I don't think he was offended.
I'd like to ask him. We haven't spoken since.
His kids and my kids went to school together, or at least played sports together up in Northern California. So I'll talk to Sean.
Yeah, ask him. Ask him.
you
I'm
fix it?
curious.
Hey man, I want to smoke. If you could smoke and not get diseases, I would definitely be smoking right now. There's nothing cooler, right? It's like, tell us some more, Zach. Anyway, can we go back to you as a young person then? Like,
Yeah.
you strike me as like an introverted extrovert. Like you're shy in a way. I think we are maybe. Well, I think I am, but
Yeah.
well, anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, but then you have this powerhouse thing that comes out like in high school. Did you go to the theater group, or are you just funny with friends, or what were you like in grade school, high school, just walking around?
Just walking
Just
around.
walking around.
Just at the Beverly
I
Center.
mean, you know, I think I was somewhat quiet, but I think, humor in my family was seen in very high regard. So my cousins and my brother and my family is funny. You know, I kind of watched them, even as the quiet person I thought I was, or I think I was. So I was kind of this more kind of observant kid that thought maybe one day I could, through my observations, maybe make a thing out of it.
And you were thinking that like at age 8, 10, 12? I mean, but young, you got the idea maybe you would do this for a living.
This is going to sound weird, but it was at my parents' conception of me.
Doesn't sound weird at all.
doesn't
My
sound weird, right?
ultrasound, I
No.
was killing.
My brother Brad, I got 3 older brothers. He swears he remembers being born, and he's serious.
Really?
Yeah, he has a photographic memory. He just remembers being born. Yeah. I'm not kidding, Brad, the guy who makes
But being
Garthon.
funny younger really pays off, and I think that's for all of us. Like at dinner or at school, like I was at a school that was I was a little bit of a pipsqueak, hard to believe, and always bullied and pushed around. But if you could, I would quietly say jokes to my friends or under my breath. But that kind of, if you get a little something, that's all I had. I wasn't super athletic. I wasn't this. So if you have some little hook like that, you go, ooh. My dad thought it was funny. You know, people think it's funny, and then you go, oh, and then you try to. Maybe that's kind of like that for a lot of
Well,
comedians.
the tall guys didn't have to do anything to get
Nothing.
the girls. We, on a bioevolutionary level, we had to be funny.
Zach, you're not that short. You.
I'm around 6'2".
Okay.
That's a gigantic chair. It's an optical illusion. Same with me. I look like I'm a foot shorter than you. Look at this. Do you
No,
want to
that's a
switch
good-
places?
No,
Okay.
I like it up here.
So Zach, did
like
you take
Letterman.
theater? Did you go into that kind of stuff, or you're just like? Or were you
No,
straight with friends?
I just was not. I never did. I did public speaking competitions. Well, I did that once.
How's that competition?
Just say a lot. It sounds good.
Well, my
better.
mom wrote the speech, and it was called "You and I and Tomorrow."
Seriously?
Yeah, that was the name of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it a public service? I mean, what
It
was
was. I don't remember
you
how.
and I. And
We should do a
tomorrow.
remake.
Yeah, there was a speech contest in North Carolina locally, and then you could go to the state finals. And my brother and I were kind of into it, but never really. No theater, none of
Yeah.
that. My mom tried to get me to go to the School of the Arts in North Carolina. She did urge me to go there. She knew that I had. I mean, she knew that I was eager to figure it out.
What's this? Which school year? Seriously?
School of the Arts in
Oh,
North
School of the
Carolina
Arts.
is a really good school in
That's a nice
Winston-Salem.
mom. So
Yeah.
she was your
At
champion.
least she bought
Oh,
into
my
it.
mom would be like, he's quiet, but I swear he's funny. Like I would hear her say that to my aunts and stuff.
And did she want you to play piano? When did you learn to play piano?
Oh right.
So I learned piano. I mean, I don't know how to play piano. It's
Whoa.
that's that. I don't know how to read music. So I don't know why I was getting ready to tell you. Well, I learned piano. I don't know piano.
You seem pretty good to me. I don't
Well,
know.
I can fake it, but for some reason, only sad music comes out of me.
Close.
And it goes well with the jokes.
You know,
for some
didn't you
reason.
do a VH1 show? And I think you. Why do I think there's a piano at the beginning of that? Or
I did. I had a talk show on VH1 years ago, and there was the piano was involved during the monologue, and I think that's why I had the show because I was like a musical act at the
Was
time.
it sort of variety where you could? Because you didn't want to just interview like Johnny Carson, like normal straight interviews. I'm sure, right?
I was just trying to figure out the format had been beaten to death, and I just was trying to figure out like how can I do something different but interesting and sometimes funny. Funny was kind of last, but on that show we would have it make it look like no one wanted to come to the show. So we would have one person in the studio audience, but we would have a laugh track of a 6-year-old. So it was very bizarre.
Yes.
It was really a weird show.
Can we find this somewhere? Is it on
No,
YouTube?
most of those
see it.
episodes are in my attic.
Can we find the 6-year-old?
It's. I don't think they're online. I don't know if they are.
I remember. What was it called? Do you remember?
It was called 60 Minutes.
Nope.
It was called Late World.
Late World?
Yeah.
And how old are you when you do Late World?
God, 30.
You don't think?
So how long had you been?
I don't know how old I was. I was
like the
35,
metro.
maybe.
I need numbers. How long did you do stand up in clubs before you got that show?
Oh, I was still doing and then that show failed, and I went back to doing open mics. So I had a talk show on VH1, and as soon as it ended, I was like, well, back to the old. So I just went back to the coffee houses in
And you
Culver
weren't really
City.
making a living then at stand-up, or just a little bit?
There was a time where I could go on the road
Mm-hmm.
and do make a living, and I was before I was making a living for a while on the road. Yeah.
And you had an hour?
I had an hour of
Not
sometimes the material was a little bit too bizarre sometimes, and there was some alienation. I mean, it was funny when you were telling me about I opened for the Sugar Hill Gang once, and
I said a hip hop hippie.
Okay.
and I remember getting kicked off stage because I made fun of the Bible, and I didn't realize I was performing at a Bible school. And this is how they kicked me off. The woman just came up to the stage. She goes, so yeah, all those shows, all those.
Did you
terrible
have a
shows.
Southern accent when you were, and you got rid of it, or did you actually have a little bit of a?
No,
Southern
I mean, I'm going home in a couple of days, and it'll just go back. It turns back on. It's just it's an easier way to.
It's North Carolinian. I mean, what is that?
Well,
It's not Mississippi. It's
no,
not
it's like
Texas.
Appalachia, North Carolina, Appalachia, and a lot of people speak through their nose there. And it's like, hey, how are you? But if you go east in North Carolina, it's very breathy, and it's really beautiful, and it sounds nice. But so there's all kinds of different accents that you
Dude,
must pay attention
What
to.
did
all
you
the
think
time.
of Daniel Craig's accent in Knives Out? Well, I thought it was kind of cool. But
I always find Hollywood always does the Gone with the Wind. I declare I have never seen such a,
Well, I think we have a case of
covers-
murder.
Yeah,
We got a
right.
murder
I think we got a murder case.
It's a little
Yes.
foghorn. Yeah.
But
Yes.
I thought it was great. I mean, he's a cool.
It just has to be funny or sound weird. I think no one's
it's
fact checking it.
entertaining. But you can go through
Except
all
you.
the Southern accents.
I'm pretty good with knowing where in the South someone might be from. I'm pretty good at it.
Okay,
good.
I did a movie.
I
in,
talk like this. Where am
Dana.
I from? You don't seem to know where I'm from.
You don't know. He doesn't know.
You don't know where I'm from, boy. No. I have a friend from Mississippi. He kind of talks like this.
Yes.
I'm from Columbia Falls, Mississippi.
Yes.
Sound just like Gomer Pyle.
That's right.
Grew up, and he's a real sincere feller.
Mm-hmm.
These snaky fellers trying to get your money, Dana. These are direct quotes. He'll be thrilled he got laughs. But
Dana, I did a movie where I was playing. They go, "You're going to play a New Hampshire accent." So first of all,
okay, that's a tough one.
I smell an Oscar immediately. So I say, I'll go. They go to a dialect coach. So I go to a dialect coach. I'm like doing it, and they go, "That's a little more Boston." I took 2 lessons, right, for the whole movie, and I'm like, "Listen, guy," and they're like, "That's more," and I go, I pulled her aside. I go, "Here's the deal. My audience is 4 to 8 year olds. All right, I just have to sound funny. All right, they're not gonna go in there with a microscope. They go, oh, if I just don't sound like Joe Dirt in one movie, they'll be happy. All right, they'll go, oh, that one's different. So
it was a kids movie, and they're trying to get you to do New
well, they're
Hampshire.
not supposed to be kids movies.
Oh,
They turn
funny.
into it because
Funny.
that's
Because you're
Who
the
wants-
star of it. Yeah.
because all my movies are on TBS because it's the grown-ups channel, and it's just a rotation of every movie.
I could have helped you. Do you remember those Petridge Farm commercials?
Pepperidge Farm.
Petridge Farm,
Yeah.
flaky and delicious. That's the only way I could do New Hampshire.
That's New
Farm.
Hampshire? Oh,
Isn't it? Or
didn't even
kind of
recognize it. No,
Petridge Farm, coming different blueberry, strawberry flavors.
that's the expert over here.
I don't know. It's
don't know.
Let's
either
take a
that or
tour of
someone
the
that's
South
deaf.
again.
Zach, I'm
Miami. What do they sound like?
I'm playing Durham. Durham, is that a city?
That's a
Durham,
city.
North
That's where Duke
Carolina.
University
And I'm
is.
excited at playing that, but any trouble? Should I worry about?
That's where my dad's from. That's where he's.
I don't have any comps left, but
Yeah.
normally it would be easy.
I get him.
No, I'm excited
It's
to
a
go
good
there. 'cause I
city.
don't-
It's a
I-
good city.
I never
Very
play
good
down
city.
there.
I love the South.
Yeah, I do
love
too. I miss
We have
it.
other
Carolinas.
I was going to ask Zach
Atlanta.
something else. Oh, you were in the how far did you get in the Scouts? I heard you were in the Scouts.
I was an Eagle Scout.
Is that the complimentary molestation? Where's my notes?
Where do my notes go? Oh, here they are. Here they are. I'm kidding, Zach. We're taking that out. That was-
No, that's fine.
we're editing
We're
that.
taking that out.
Or we're putting on a loop for promotion.
Zach's like,
All right.
if that was actually written down, I'm walking out of here. Oh, well, let's ask him about.
What do you wanna ask him about?
I want to. Well, we can talk about the Hangover for a minute. You were in the Hangover. This is like the theater
Well,
show. What's it
Hangover
called?
was like
You were in the
um,
Hangover, and then everyone applauds.
That calls
Applaud! God damn. They don't know. They don't know.
Hangover of the last 20 years, the two that got me the hardest as comedies, because I see all the strings, Hangover and Tropic Thunder. Yeah. Those are the two that caught me flat-footed.
Yeah.
And you were in which one?
I was in.
Sorry.
I was in the Hangover. Yeah.
So you go from comedian, people know you, you're going along, you've done a special, live at Purple Onion, stand-up special, and then Todd Phillips calls, and you go on What Happens Next.
Are you the first choice for that, or do you know? Do you remember? It's a real question.
I mean,
Listen, I've been a fallout on every movie I've ever done.
oh my God.
I don't know. That's not a mean question. That's just like sometimes the movies come together and they go, "We got this one would be a good accent." Obviously, Zach's great. It's a funny part to play, and they let you do. It seems like Todd, who seems like a really funny,
he'd
cool
seen
guy,
you
let
and
you
knew.
do what you do, and
Well, I think he was going to stand-up clubs. I think that's what he had told me, and then that's where he knew me from. Because I don't know if I'd done much otherwise to be seen on screen. But so he asked me an audition. I think I was living in Canada, and I'm terrible. I just don't like to audition. I've always been bad at it. I
Horrible.
usually get. I mean, I have so many stories about. We all do, but
Could you tell us one of a really? Well, people might want to hear
there's just.
because you're.
I mean, I don't want to,
superstar.
but there's just so many. I just was so not into the process of it. I mean, the first time I ever got a laugh in an audition was when I first auditioned for a drama. And they were laughing at me.
well, sometimes the problem is if you're a comedian, you read things and it feels sort of stiff because you're a bit quirky or charactery, and so when you're reading super flat lines that are just written for a generic comedy, they'll tweak them later if it's him or somebody. But as is, it's sometimes for your personality. Maybe it's not hilarious when you do it because it's so basic. But if you brought your stuff to it, then it's funny. So maybe he saw if you could bring your weirdness to it, then it's great.
Well, I think also at that time I was a bit older, and I think I was kind of not to be cavalier about it, but I think my attitude was, well, this is probably going to end soon, meaning this pursuit of whatever this is.
Oh, I see.
I don't really care as much because I'll just kind of try to exit without caring, if that makes any sense.
Well, wait a minute. So you were you get the Hangover. You're thinking this is pretty much a mic drop. I'm out of here.
No, meaning
No, he
I'm
doesn't
not
care if
going to
he
get
gets it.
this. I'm not going to get
Oh,
this
the audition
job. I
process,
will
yeah.
just. I think my mindset then was, I tried doing showbiz. At that time, I mean, you
Right.
know, you kind of beat yourself up sometimes, and I didn't really know what I was doing, and I mean, who does? But anyway, I flew down from Canada and auditioned, and I think I remember leaving, getting into my stretch Hummer.
So you were doing well.
And telling Sugar Ray to scoot over.
Oh God, I laugh, but I did a pilot with him 20 years ago. But then I got the job, and then you do you show up for work and you start acting in it, and I remember going to dinner with the other actors, with Bradley and I forget the other
Ed.
names.
Ed Helms,
No, it's only Bradley. Who gives a shit about the other guys?
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley and Ed, and I think Ken and we were all at dinner, and I said to them, this movie seems good. I've never had this feeling before. So I felt there was a real kind of energy on set there that was, sometimes that happens and it's not, it doesn't translate to the screen. Sure. Mm-hmm. There's great energy on set and everybody's like, well, this is, but that one, Todd is a very good editor and a really good very good director that knows how to steer that stuff.
Sure, you sort of need all the components and you can lose it anywhere along the way, but
yep.
If you do it and you're doing maybe you're doing extra takes where you're just trying different jokes and screwing around. Plus, we all remember The Hangover wasn't a huge movie, and it was probably not a big budget, and you're not going into it going, oh, I just got the Avengers. It's like, oh, I just got a comedy. It could go away. It could be nothing, but it blows up, obviously, into a huge thing. So it would be probably even scarier to audition for something if you know it's that big. Like, people that are auditioning for the sequel are like, holy shit, this is a huge movie.
Yeah, I had to audition for the sequel.
You did?
Hollywood. That's
you're gonna read with Brad
you were
Cooper
so
in this.
Good in the
like,
first one.
That's great.
I had this guy come up to me once and he goes, "Hey, are you an actor?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Are you the guy from Hangover 2?" I don't even know how I answered. I think I just walked away. I didn't know what this.
Where's the baby now? You still stay in touch?
They didn't like Todd. He had a baby.
That sounds like Brody. Brody.
Oh my God.
Brody Stevens is a great comedian.
Oh,
and Zach was very good friends. I was friends with.
Away.
He toured with me for a while at the very end and passed away. And God, I was just thinking today because I knew you were close with Brody, and so I was clicking from your stuff because I don't know who you are, and I was clicking from you, and then I'm jumping over to Brody's shit trying to remember all his jokes, and I just saw a clip of him, classic Brody, not bombing but getting so mad at the crowd, and the crowd's like, we didn't do anything wrong. They're just not laughing that much,
right?
And he's going arms crossed negative. And he was doing all his jokes. I'm dating a girl from Greece, the movie. She's 75. You know how many I was trying to think of all these jokes he has, Dana. I don't know if you knew him. And everyone,
I remember
we'd stand in the back and laugh.
That talk show on VH1 I was talking about earlier, he was the warm-up guy.
Yeah.
And I would peek behind the curtain to see what was going on. And Brody just would be going, Whopper or Big Mac, you make the call.
That's actually probably pretty good. I mean, for a warm-up guy, just energy, right?
You know what? He did it on our Lights Out show, and I'd peek my head at the same thing, and they go, hey, something's going on out there, and he goes, you're negative, you don't deserve David Spade. He was in Police Academy 4. He's from Michigan, and he's not coming out until I give the green light. And I'm going, what? Why is he yelling at the crowd? And the crowd is like 9 people, And but he had so many goddamn fucking.
One of my favorite
jokes.
moments with him, God, is it's early on, and we were hanging out. We were at my apartment in Santa Monica, and Margaret Cho was on television, and we were just watching in silence. I don't mean it like that, but we're just watching it, and after a couple minutes, Brody just yells at the TV, not trying to be funny. She had a sitcom. Why come me don't have one?
Why come me?
Why come me don't have one? He answered his own question.
He goes, he goes, I'm doing pretty well in show business. I'm finally able to take my mom out to lunch and pay for half. Right? Is that it? I'm a professional mangler. One more. I am not a member of the Mile High Club, but I did masturbate on the Ferris wheel at the Pomona County Fair. So many jokes. He was so funny. But I'm saying him because he was in, I think you put him in one or two things, because he goes, you know me, I'm the guy from Hangover, Hangover 2, Due Date, Cut Out of Funny People.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I think, Todd saw Brody. Todd Phillips saw Brody while I was doing shows at the old Largo. So that's why Brody's in those movies. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Okay.
if I had something to do with it, he wouldn't have been in any of them.
Todd's got a good eye, though. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
But I miss him so much. I was missing him so much. David, I may have told you this the other day, but there wasn't a podcast, so I'll say it again. But I was missing this guy we're talking about, Brody, and he was known for alienating audiences. That was one of the reason I think comics
One of
liked
his
him.
charms, yeah.
Perversely, is we would all rush out to see him turn audiences away.
We had a few of those in San Francisco.
And he's bombing in Montreal, who used to have this baseball team, and blah, blah, blah. And Brody just looks out at the audience while he's bombing, and he yells out, "No wonder the Expos left!"
He was a pitcher at ASU, I think, and he goes, "I threw 88 with movement." He would say that in the middle of his act, too. A very funny guy. I won't read all his jokes. So Hangover worked out for you? Is that the end of that story?
Yeah. Did you so this is the first time you're getting actual extra money? Yeah. Did you buy a Rolls Royce or anything? I mean, did you do anything with what was that like when you first had extra money?
Yeah.
I bought 4 elephants.
Smart.
No, I bought a place. I bought a place in North Carolina, a farm. I'm not a farm, but a place to try to be a farmer.
For a nickel.
But I don't live there anymore. But yeah, I got that, and then
You went home and bought them all? Just to show off.
I don't remember. I got a lot of fur coats for all my aunts. Sure.
Did you?
Everybody gets a fur coat.
Did you like to farm, right?
Oh, I mean, my fantasy is to be a farmer one day. But I look, that's hard work. It's like for some entertainment guy to say that is kind of, but that's what I feel like. If not farm, it's more gardening, to be honest.
Okay,
but I have a tractor.
It sounds bigger, yeah.
I have a tractor. I'm
do
getting.
you drive it around?
No, Dana. It's for my Insta.
But gardening,
I like to
got
work
it.
with my hands.
Yeah.
I masturbate, ladies and gentlemen. You got it. That's Brody again. Oh yeah, he goes. I did. I've been doing porno. I do a one-man scene on a yoga mat in Chatsworth. I don't know. Let's talk about Baskets. Baskets was a great show.
Baskets.
I don't have to tell this crowd. You don't have to tell this crowd, Zach. They know.
Baskets.
That's it.
You only do cool stuff,
Yeah.
seems to me. I've done a
cool?
lot of
Oh,
shit.
cool.
You do a lot of cool stuff.
You do cool stuff.
It seems like you do it on your own
terms.
Like they let you do your thing, which isn't always the case with everyone, and it's sort of the dream for any comedian. Like, let me just do my own thing. Like Curb is always an example of like that would be fun to do something like that where you could just do your own thing. And it's very, very hard to do those things. I mean, people look at it and go, "That's such a great show," or Baskets, but to write it, cast it well, make it make sense, all that stuff is exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and sometimes you get lucky, and most of the time you get unlucky. But sometimes you get lucky with things kind of come to place. I mean, I think that show, if I could bore you with it a bit, is we were just trying to be. I had not seen regular people on television portrayed without. I just wanted to ground a comedy
Like
so
the
it could be
sheen
emotional
of Hollywood on them. Yeah.
with not this. I wanted it to be dusty, and I wanted it to be more real than I have seen, especially the comedy world. And I asked John Kreisel, the director of it, can you figure out this dusty world I'm trying to tell you about, in this rodeo clown world? So, we did our research a little bit and started casting and writing it, and yeah, it's a show it was so fun to work on, and yeah, it was a lot of fun and a lot of work. I was just thinking about Louis Anderson when I was talking about it, and I just heard he died today.
You know.
He would have fucking laughed.
Yes.
Oh, he would have loved
Every
that.
comedian laughs at any joke by that. You know.
Oh my
Louis,
God, Louis was.
When did that strike you? When did you figure that out? I'm gonna have Louis play my mom.
Louis C.K. and I were talk.
All the Louis.
Well, there were two Louis in this
Louis C.K.,
conversation.
Louis.
Louis C.K. and I were talking about the mother, to cast the mother, and he was asking me what I was thinking about, and I said, well, I'd already called this British actress named Brenda Blethyn, who I really, really like, but for some reason that didn't work out, and or she didn't get the email. That's what I think. There was just no. She didn't get the email. So I was telling Louis, I was kind of imitating the voice. This is a story I've told many times, but and I was doing the voice, and he looked at me and he goes, "Like Louis Anderson's voice?" Wow. And I said, "Yeah." And Louis goes, "Should we call him?" And I went, "Yeah." And that was it. Wow. There was this weird. Louis had, and I didn't know this, but he had been channeling his mom on stage for a long time.
Yeah.
And that was kind of that was the lucky part about it. But I had always loved him. I loved his vulnerability, even in his stand-up. If you can observe these kind of things, it's fun to kind of try to figure out. And I thought, he can do it, but not. I don't want it drag.
Right. It has to be real.
The first day they put a lot of makeup on him, and I was like, can we get some of that off? He's the part. So just, we put some wonderful costumes on him, and the makeup was wonderful. And Louis is, I think when you come from such a background like he did, I think his tenderness came from pain on cue.
Jesus.
I told my manager, it's like,
What
if
a
I say
ruiner.
something cool,
Someone ruined
make sure you beep something. If I get choked up talking about Louis, beep it so it breaks up the ice.
This is a good audience.
But no, I think Louis had this thing in him that was really could throw it out.
Heartbreaking
Yes.
pathos in his stand-up,
Yes.
and a brilliant stand-up and storyteller.
But on set, I would die laugh at work with
he
him.
was funny every second.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
God, he just was so great.
Mm-hmm.
You probably knew Louis. I when I first got to town when I was 20, this is at least 8 years ago. I was, so I don't know where I saw Louis somewhere and I didn't know him. I was in the hallway at the Improv, but he was nice. And I was trying to audition at the Improv or the Comedy Store. Those are the big ones to get in. And but I was 20 and I had an okay act. I had about, 8 minutes. And so he says, "Why don't you audition for Mitzi?" And I go, "Oh, I don't even know how to do that." And he said, "I'll bring you down." So I went down there, met him. He went and told Mitzi on their audition night, and I went in the Comedy Store right here, did my set, did okay, came out on the sidewalk on Sunset and just stood there, and he came out and he goes, "She didn't like you." I go, "Oh."
It's tough, man. I auditioned there once, and then you have to go see Mitzi. Did you go over to her table?
No, he was a
You just
middleman.
ushered you out?
He spared me watching her go. I'm sure she would have been rougher about it. He was like, "Yeah, wanna eat?"
I auditioned, and she said to me, "Get some puppets."
It's not bad advice.
Yeah, I auditioned for her and nothing. Yeah.
Nothing happened. You're in the main room
Yeah.
next night.
Yep.
Do you have any-
There's nothing else to ask.
Nothing else to ask?
Knows Fiona Apple. Check.
Do you want to do some?
Oh wait, SNL. We had to ask about SNL. Remember? This whole thing is about
Okay.
SNL. God damn, Danny, you forgot why
I watched both your monologues today.
Ah,
I'd seen them before.
Dana had a big day.
I'm telling you, I've been researching for 11 hours. No, Saturday Night Live, 2010, 2011, hosting both times.
Yeah.
And someone today mentioned you and Kenan Thompson's What's Up with That?
What's up with that? Was he in it?
And you came out, this guy with this long flute in this weird jumpsuit.
Yep.
And it's a very
Was that
potent.
the double-sided flute?
Yeah. Does it? You guys remember that?
Dexterous flute?
Yeah.
Oh,
You just came. It had no lines. You just came out,
I
played,
didn't
and
even know that
pranced.
was you. I saw it.
Yeah.
But it was something very indelible about that.
Yeah. I remember that. It was. I still have I have the jumpsuit. It's in my closet. I usually don't keep any of that stuff, but I have. It's quite. It's comfortable. I wear it a lot in Canada while I'm chopping wood. Yeah, that was a flute. I remember they had like a double thing guitar, and I was like, I don't know. That seems like can you build a flute where the guy does this? And they did.
Yeah, it's like
That's the great thing about that show. Can you maybe get a prop like this? They're like, yeah, sure,
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
They
It's
can do
magic
anything
that way.
within 24 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did. I read one. Maybe you were brought in as a guest writer or something. They said there was a Britney Spears sketch that you pitched an idea with you and Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
10 years before, you were brought in as a guest writer or something like that?
Well, I thought I was brought in as a cast member.
You were
I
making
got
They
there
never
and-
tell you what you're brought
No,
in
I
as.
No one
couldn't figure
talks
it
to
out.
you.
There was
Yeah.
a weekend. I was like, oh, I don't. I guess I'm writing. So I wrote. Looking back, I feel really bad about it, but not that it was There were 2 sketches that I pitched to her, and it was just she and I in this office alone, and
Britney Spears.
the first sketch was Will Ferrell. We were going to shrink him down to be the bodyguard to her belly button.
You love it. Love it.
Right?
That
Yeah,
sounds
it's great.
that sounds funny.
It's great.
So that was basically what I said to her. I remember a tumbleweed going through the conversation. On my back. I mean, it's not her fault. And then I thought at the time, because she was so kind of pop sugary, I said, look, I think it would be funny if you were to do a straight interview with something like Entertainment Tonight, and you're just answering these banal questions, and you happen to be bleeding from the mouth.
I like that.
I like it too. This sounds like
And
a Monday.
that sounds like
I just remember she looked at me, and then I remember looking at the ground,
on the ground.
and I remember looking back up, and we made eye contact, and she goes, "Yeah, that's funny."
Ah.
She was nice about it.
She seems very
She
sweet.
was very
yeah.
nice about it, and
That's a funny.
it
That's
could've been
a
a
great
fish
thing
hook
for
or
her
something,
because
yeah.
of blood coming down and trying to. I mean, it
I
would've
don't
been
know.
nice.
I thought maybe it would be kind of a fun thing, but it didn't work. It didn't work for her.
Zach, pop stars shouldn't really bleed on air. Rule number 540. So your monologue. I mean, the second one where you stripped your clothes off. You had a little red jumpsuit on, and then you had a board with letters on it. Like,
Well,
do you want to talk?
No, it's fine.
incredibly-
It's something I had been doing in my stand-up. I mean, in my late 30s, I was going around the country
with the board. And,
with the board
yeah.
in a little Orphan Annie dress and
The
glitter.
dress too.
Oh yeah, I have.
Oh, that was in your club act.
Oh well, I would at this time I was kind of doing bigger.
Your club act.
Your club act, kid. You got your club act and your
I was
regular
doing
act.
Uncle Tampon's Comedy Cave in Tampa. No, I was doing
Yeah.
shows, and so I had that
You had-
one under
It was
a thing that
it was so
it was
funny.
something I liked doing, and I was trying to be absurdist and somewhat political. at the same time back then. And sometimes, the only way I felt like I could pull that off, or at least to have a message or two, was to do something very weird. And there were a couple of political jokes buried in that. That and then I would change it from time to time. And I actually got someone tried to sue me because of what was on those flip charts years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So so I would perform as Little Orphan Annie and close out shows. And by the time I was ready to do Saturday Night Live, I think it was 39, dressed as Little Orphan Annie, going around the country.
You're like, but this bit is
prancing
polished.
about-
Yes, and
Very
dancing in a very
seductively.
much too old to be doing that kind of thing.
That was the.
But
They're like, John Hamm did this last week. You're like, what? I've been sitting on this.
I don't even know you.
yeah, that's I remember that bit. Yeah, God, Jesus, it haunts me.
Do you remember the first time you met Lorne Michaels? It doesn't have to. Any thoughts about him?
No, I don't remember the first time. I mean, no, I do remember in his office. Yeah, in his office. When you host, you go
Come
and
in.
you go into that awkward meeting thing that is
It'll be
very
a fun week. You excited?
You're coming off that hangover heat. and
Everyone
the minute
loves
you're
it.
hot, you feel yourself getting less hot. Lauren has a lot of.
When you know
Laurenism.
you're hot, you're cold. Anyway, let's bring everyone in. They bring everyone in, and then they pitch all the ideas, and Zach
It's
says
popcorn, right?
Yeah.
He has popcorn
Yeah.
all day long,
You like butter?
unsalted. It's unsalted, isn't it?
Butter?
Butter. I've always liked butter. He's an interesting person.
Jiffy Pop?
Jiffy
What does
Pop,
he think of
Orville
everybody's
I don't know.
He never talks about it?
I don't think he knows I'm doing one. It's so bad. But Dana's is...
He asked
Dana's
me
is good.
once on an
Yeah.
airplane. I've been doing it for years behind the scenes, but it was too embarrassed to do it in front of him. So he asked me. He said, like, when you do me, what do you do?
Right.
And I balked at that moment. But years later, I was at a restaurant with Lauren and his two assistants and Rob Lowe in Santa Monica, and he said, do it for me. So I started to do it. And I said it was just him at the board on the Wednesday night picking the show. And he would get mad. He'd go, I still have no fucking first act. And then he'd go into the bathroom. And coincidentally, this is a true story. So he's doing that. And then he tells me to tell the Paul McCartney story when I met him at Lorne Michaels' house. So I'm doing Paul like this and going on and on like that. Lauren's looking up and goes, could be, yes, yes. And I did an impressionist tap out. And it's Paul. And I'm going, doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. And then like,
Oh, Paul was behind you, and he
Paul
knew
was
he was
there.
coming in.
I had it. I get tapped out. Once I had John Travolta. I was on stage in Denver, and I'm, these guys are going crazy like that. And then tap out. It's John Travolta.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's an impressionist tap out. But anyway, Lauren, I think at this point gets it. Everyone does it. I think he's kind of likes it. I believe. Don't you think so?
Funny, it's compliment.
It's
I mean,
funny
there's
and
nothing
silly.
negative
We all
about
love
it.
him. I mean, he's brilliant. The Lauren, his isms, his life little things. Marriage is a prison everyone's trying to escape into.
That's a great one.
Wow, that's good.
I mean, and he's got tons of those. He talked about funny people. Where you going to live? Are you going to be around funny people? Because there's like only 900 of us on the planet at any given time. And 900 was like the perfect number. Like, really? Is that about it? Like 20 in Poland and like 18 there's only 900 funny people on the planet.
Feels a little heavy for Paul.
But Lauren, he's a little heavy.
Maybe low teens.
So you do the Hangover. You're
Yeah,
very
what is that-
successful. You do Baskets. You do Saturday Night Live.
This is a big summary.
Big summary. I have some basic questions.
Yeah,
for
go.
you
Yeah,
at
let's
the
drill
end.
them.
These are
Drill them
basic
hard.
questions. When you give to charity, is it for ego fulfillment or to help people?
It's a good one. Yeah.
I think if people don't know that you've given, then you haven't given.
Yeah. Finally.
Or at least that's the motto of this fucking town.
When I do The Wire, I call the press people at the exact same time. I go, this Wire's not going out without Yahoo News knowing. Let's put us all on one email.
The best thing about being famous is
Good table at Soup Plantation.
my best feature is hair.
Hangover.
Hangover. Did you say Hangover?
Feature film?
No.
No, my best feature. Oh. I thought it was like looks.
That's what I. That's how I
took it as looks. Okay. Yes.
I have I have good legs.
All
I have
right.
nice legs.
Would you describe yourself as an empath or a narcissist?
There's no middle ground at all.
I don't know.
I don't even know what
just got
either of
these
those
out of a
mean.
book
You know
today.
what an empath is?
Not
and a
really.
narcissist.
Empath is
somebody like
empathy.
you feel feelings.
Oh, I do. Okay, I'm that one.
Yeah.
You are so totally that one.
I am.
Can I tell you? David said that I was driving here tonight, and David, a few years ago, a bunch of people were in the green room,
Yeah.
and we were all just talking about stand up and where we used to do it, and how the old days. And David just goes, when I first started doing stand up, as everybody leaves the room. And
I saw people start to go.
It makes me laugh all the time. I think about it all the time.
Dude, he was here 2 weeks ago, and I talked to him for 3 minutes, and I laughed so hard. I go, I can't even talk to you anymore because I knew we were doing this, and I go, God, he makes me laugh so fucking hard. And then I came over here because you're one of my favorites, and I start to watch you stand up, and I go, oh no. And then I had to go after you, and everyone's like, ugh.
That's not true.
Everyone-
But that's weird because that's a different interpretation of how I felt after that show.
Oh,
because
really?
You handed me my hat like that was a tough set.
Well, I do that to get in your head.
You
Oh.
followed him?
No,
Okay, all right. It was.
he left his hat on stage, so I grabbed it, and he was leaving, and I went back, and some Davy Crocker, it was like some, and I gave it to him, and I was like, hey, fuck that crowd, man. That's a good one. Then they go, huh?
That's the worst thing you can hear when you get
Yeah.
off.
Oh,
Oh, fuck that
God.
crowd. That
Yes.
says you bombed.
They don't get you.
That's the worst.
Oh
No.
my God.
God damn it.
Okay, well, let's let him wrap up. He's been good. He put in his hours.
How
Put in his hours.
How what? So this is a podcast.
I don't know.
We'll edit it. We'll
This will
find
be 6 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, what? You sit through it and you edit it. And
No,
you,
No,
it'll
we
be
don't
as
edit
is.
anything.
How long are they usually?
7 hours.
No, they're usually about an hour-ish.
Okay.
So we just went over an hour.
hour
We're okay.
10.
Okay.
Yeah.
And-
Are you angling for more money?
Yeah.
Are you amazed how disorganized and amateurish we are?
Well, I thought they were.
don't
I know.
know.
I actually. The fact that you guys and I saw you guys get these chairs out of your cars.
We're on a budget. Flanny is tight.
So I was impressed with that. Very impressed.
No, I like it. I'm a little nervous talking to Zach. It's fun. It's great to see you. I don't see you much. Always fun to see you on stuff, and it's great. And no bullshit.
We
and
think
great the same
you're
way,
we butter our people up, but we're sincere. You know, you're one of the Mount Rushmore
Yeah,
all time
you're great.
comedians. It's
So funny.
of our generation. I
Yeah,
really mean
very
that.
interesting, dude. Always interesting.
I draw a line between you and Will Ferrell only in the sense of the commitment because Will said no one will ever outcommit me.
Yeah.
But you commit. No one can outcommit you.
Yeah.
Well, Will is one of those guys that Jesus, that the way he
I'm so funny.
goes and even does like side bits when you're at work that that man is. I remember when we were working together at the time. It was the terrible. Yeah, and the news was the terrible Penn State. Yeah. And Will's a big sports fan, and he was following that stuff. And I, at that time, I was working on getting the statue of who's Penn State's coach?
Paterno.
I wanted to put that in Will's yard.
I'm a big molester fan. I was following that case too.
It's gonna be a very interesting podcast.
okay.
You're revealing yourself.
It's
That's good.
okay now.
Supposed to be authentic.
I know. These are all just, I don't know. We're at Largo. It doesn't matter.
It's
Largo,
thanks.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Dana. Thanks,
Thank you.
David. Thank you,
Zach,
guys.
thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
coming
Thanks
on.
to the audience.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Have a great night. This has been a podcast presentation of Cadence 13. Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes. Available now for free wherever you get your podcast.
No joke, folks. Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13, executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment.
The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman with production and engineering support from Serena Regan and Chris Basil of Cadence 13.